Every morning I woke to the gray haze of Prague seeping through the windows of our cramped apartment. The city stirred below me, cobblestone streets, horse-drawn carriages rattling, and the distant toll of church bells marking a time I could never feel part of. I was born in 1883, the son of Hermann Kafka, a man whose voice filled every room, whose presence was so immense it left little space for anyone else. My father, he was a force of nature, stern, loud, unyielding. He demanded strength, power, and success, none of which I could claim to possess. Every word, every glance from him felt like a judgment. I was small, timid, sensitive, the exact opposite of him. He could never understand the quiet storms inside me, the trembling thoughts that poured onto paper in secret. School, university, law. I climbed these steps not for joy, but for survival. The walls he built, the walls of the office, and the walls of my own mind, they confined me, but also shaped the writer within. My stories, my characters, the labyrinths I created, they were echoes of my fear, my isolation, and my desire to escape a world that felt too heavy to inhabit. Love entered my life like a flicker of light in a gray room. Felice Bauer. Her letters came like whispers of hope across weeks and months. I loved her, yet I feared her. I feared intimacy, commitment, being truly seen. Twice we were engaged, twice my anxieties pulled me back. My heart longed, but my mind trembled. By day I worked at the Workers' Accident Insurance Institute, sifting through mountains of forms and numbers that felt like chains. Faces of strangers stared blankly, and I often wondered if they could see the man hidden behind the clerk's desk. In 1923, I met Dora Diamant. At that time, my health was fragile, but tuberculosis had not yet become severe. Dora entered my life with warmth and light, a rare companionship that would later sustain me in my final months. Illness crept silently. Tuberculosis eventually weakened my body, reminding me that time is borrowed and fragile. And when the disease worsened, Dora was there, attentive, caring, a light in the shadow of my suffering. She offered comfort and closeness, a tenderness I had rarely known, contrasting sharply with the harshness of my father and the solitude of my own life. By night I wrote, ink flowing like blood, words trembling with fear, hope, and absurdity. The metamorphosis, the trial, the castle, each story a mirror of my inner world, a reflection of a life caught between obligation and imagination. I asked Max Brod, my dearest friend, to destroy all my manuscripts after I died. I wanted my words to vanish with me, my existence folded into silence. But Max, he defied me, seeing that even a life of quiet suffering could ignite sparks for others. People call my stories strange, surreal, absurd, but life itself is stranger. Perhaps we are all Gregor Samsa, waking one morning to find ourselves transformed into something unrecognizable, and yet we attempt to live, to work, to write, to love. We stumble, we hope, we despair, and we search for meaning in a world that offers none easily. I lived in shadows and ink and fear and wonder, in silence and thought. I did not seek fame nor recognition. I sought only truth, the fragile, fleeting, impossible truth of existence. A truth that to be alive is to feel both the cage and the possibility of flight, to suffer and to dream, to write against the darkness. And now, as I look back, from the silence that follows every word, I realize that life was never meant to be understood, only felt. The walls I built were not prisons, but mirrors. The suffering I feared was not punishment, but proof that I was alive. If there is a lesson in my life, it is this: To write is to rebel against silence. To love is to accept fragility. And to live is to walk through the labyrinth without expecting a way out, only to find beauty in getting lost.